जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Astottara Sat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Narayanam namaskrityam naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udhirayat. Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistuki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, entitled Chanting the Song sung by Lord Shiva, text number 16. Word for word. Yatredam Vyajyate Vishvam Vishvam Ashmin Avabhati Yat Tat Tvam Brahma Param Jyotir Akasham Eva Vistritam Yathedam Vyajyate Vishvam Vishvashmin Avabhatiyat Tattvam Brahma Param Jyoti akashameva vistritam yatedam vyajyate vishvam vishvasmin avabatiyat tattvam brahma param jyotir akashameva vistritam yatredam vyajyate vishvam vishvasmin avabatiyat tattvam brahma param jyotir akashameva vistritam Tedam vyajate vishvam vishvasayam avabatiyat tattvam brahma param jyotir akashameva vistritam Visitam Yatredam vyajyate vishvam vishvasmin avabatiyat tattvam brahma param jyotir akashameva vistritam Yatredam vishvam vishvasmin avabatiyat tattvam param jyotir akashameva vistritam Yatredam vyajyate vishvam vishvasmin avabatiyat Raja Jyotir Akashameva vistritam Yatredam vishvam vishvasmin avabatiyat tattvam brahma param jyotir akashameva vistritam yatra where idam this vyajyate manifested vishvam the universe vishvasmin in the cosmic manifestation avabhati is manifested yat that tat that tvam you Brahma the impersonal Brahman param transcendental jyotir effulgence akasham sky eva like vistritam spread. Translation. My dear Lord, the impersonal Brahman spreads everywhere like the sunshine or the sky, and the impersonal Brahman which spreads throughout the universe and in which the entire universe is manifested is you. Please repeat. My dear Lord, the impersonal Brahman spreads everywhere like the sunshine or the sky, and that impersonal Brahman which spreads throughout the universe and in which the entire universe is manifested is you. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In Vedic literature it is said that everything is Brahman and nothing else. The whole cosmic manifestation rests on the Brahman effulgence. The impersonalists, however, cannot understand how such a huge cosmic manifestation can rest upon a person. Thus, this inconceivable power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not understood by the impersonalists. Therefore, they are puzzled and always denying the absolute truth is a person. This wrong impression is cleared by Lord Shiva himself, who says that the impersonal Brahman, which is spread all over the universe, is nothing but the Supreme Lord himself. Here it is clearly said that the Lord is spread everywhere, just like the sunshine, by virtue of his Brahman feature. This example is very easy to understand. All the planetary systems are resting upon the sunshine, yet the sunshine and the source of the sunshine are aloof from the planetary manifestations. Similarly, the sky or air is spread everywhere. Air is within a pot, but it also touches filthy places and sanctified places alike. In any case, the sky is uncontaminated. The sunshine also touches filthy places and sanctified places, and both are actually produced by the sun. But in any case, the sun is aloof from all filthy things. Similarly, the Lord exists everywhere. There are pious things and impious things, but in the Shastras, the pious things are described as the front of the Supreme Lord, whereas impious things are described as the back of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, the Lord clearly says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtinaha matstani sarva bhutani nachaham teshu avastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. This verse from Bhagavad Gita explains that the Lord is spread everywhere by virtue of his Brahman feature. Everything rests in him, yet he is not there. The conclusion is that without a bhakti yoga, without rendering devotional service to the Lord, even an impersonalist cannot understand the Brahma Tattva, the Brahman feature. In the Vedanta Sutra it is said, Atato Brahma Jignasha. This means that Brahman, Paramatma or Parabrahman should be understood. In Srimad Bhagavatam also the absolute truth is described as the one without a second, but he is realized in three features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate issue, and in this verse Lord Shiva confirms that ultimately the absolute truth is a person. He clearly says, Tattvam Brahma Param Jyotir Akasham Eva Visritam. Here is a common example. A successful businessman may have many factories and offices, and everything rests on his order. If someone says that the entire business rests on such and such a person, it does not mean that the person is bearing all the factories and offices on his head. Rather, it is understood by his brain or his energetic expansion, the business is running without interruption. Similarly, it is the brain and the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that carry on the complete manifestation of the material and spiritual worlds. The philosophy of monism explained here very clearly adjusts itself to the fact that the supreme source of all energy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is described very clearly. It is also stated how the impersonal feature of Krishna can be understood. Rasoham abshu konteya prabhashmi shashi surayaho pranava sarva vedeshu sapta ke paurusham nirshu. O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, I am the light of the sun and moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. Bhagavad Gita 7:8. In this way, Krishna can be understood as the mystic power in everything. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurul Militam Yena Tasme Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pascheta Deshatharini Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text 60. My dear Lord, the impersonal Brahman spreads everywhere like the sunshine or the sky. And that impersonal Brahman which spreads throughout the universe and in which the entire universe is manifested is you. And this is a confirmation by Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is a extraordinary great person. And here he is confirming that ultimately even the impersonal feature is Krishna. So Lord Shiva, there's a nice verse from the Brahma Samhita, very famous verse to understand Lord Shiva. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Gaur Hari ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 45. Shiram yata dadi vikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tata pritak asti hetu ya shambhutam api tata samupeta karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Translation: just as milk is transformed into curd by the action of acids, but yet the effect curd is neither same as nor different from its cause, which is milk. So I adore the primal Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Shambhu is a transformation of the performance of work of destruction. So Lord Shiva is a very, very great personality. And in this purport by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, he is saying, Shambhu, or Lord Shiva, is not a second Godhead other than Lord Krishna. And so we should understand Lord Shiva's position. And he goes on, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta goes on to say, those who entertain such discriminating sentiment commit a great offense against the Supreme Lord. The supremacy of Shambhu is subservient to that of Govinda. Hence, they are not really different from each other. So, this is a very difficult subject to understand, the position of Lord Shiva, and it will take us many lifetimes. But we should understand here that Lord Shiva is subservient to Lord Krishna. And Lord Shiva is saying here in this verse about the impersonal Brahman, which is Krishna himself. And as we now reading into the Bhagavatam, we'll find the same topic comes up again and again and again. Impersonalism and voidism. And so we are being reminded not only by Srila Prabhupada but also by Lord Shiva about this impersonalism and voidism. And we are all along, as we read more from Bhagavad Gita, the smaller books, Srimad Bhagavatam, even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are being constantly reminded about this impersonalism, because as human beings will have the strong tendency of falling back into this idea of impersonalism, because we'll be tested in so many ways. We'll have so many difficulties also in our on our path, on our spiritual path, that we are likely to go back to the impersonal feature, especially when we put into difficult situations and when we're expecting nice things to happen to us when we try to practice spiritual life. But then we find there are reversals coming more, and then we think, it's a general tendency of human beings to think, why is this happening? I'm trying to practice spiritual life. Good things should be happening. But we find so many reversals, so many negative, so many bad things happen. And then we have the tendency to go back to this impersonal feature. And here, but again, as we read, we are being constantly being reminded of how we should try and understand this impersonal feature, because it is there. It is not something imaginary, or it's something real. The impersonal Brahman feature, or the glaring effulgence of Lord Krishna's body, it is there. And there are many transcendentalists who aspire on their spiritual path to attain perfection in this way. And as we try to understand more, we'll find there's a sequence of how we understand this impersonalism, especially from within the last 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, when Lord Krishna was on the planet. And after Krishna left, there were, especially in the Vedas, there's a license for animal killing, specific times and things like that, and you make offerings to specific deities, and then you can eat meat. But this became misused, and people in general began to misuse this license to freely kill animals and eat animals, and in this way they were not following the actual injunctions of the Vedas. So this is how Lord Krishna comes as the Shakti Avesh avatar of Lord Buddha. And Lord Buddha, in order to stop animal killing, he preached ahimsa, or non-violence. And in order to achieve this, to bring back people, at least to stop people from killing animals, he asked them to reject the Vedas. There's nothing, you reject the Vedas and just follow me. So this is how Lord Buddha, he brought this philosophy of voidism, that when you reject the Vedas, then you ultimately reject the personality of Godhead. And in this way, Lord Buddha was able to stop animal killing. And by doing this, he made everything zero. Everything zero, voidist, everything is zero, there's nothing. And this is the only life, and there's nothing after this, nirvana or whatever they call it. So this is the beginning of this impersonalism and voidism. It's coming from Lord Buddha, because he had to do something to stop. Although Lord Buddha is Krishna, but he rejects the Vedas in order to stop animal killing. And thereafter, in order to bring back the Vedas, Lord Shiva comes as Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya, he makes everything one. All is one. This is impersonalism. All is one. So this is how he brings back the Vedas, but he brings everyone to the point of impersonalism. All is one, ultimately everything's impersonal. And he doesn't, although Shankaracharya, he accepts ultimately that Krishna or Narayana is a person, is a supreme Godhead, but he preaches in this way that we bring everything to one, and in this way he brings back the Vedas. And then we are fortunate that Krishna comes as Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he makes everything two, Radha and Krishna. And we are the same. When we chant Hare Krishna, is Radha and Krishna. Hare is Radharani. So this again now is the complete aspect of spiritual realization, to understand as Krishna as a person and Godhead ultimately as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's a very long history, and it's very deeply rooted in all of us, because we all come from that type of background. Especially, we get confused about why there's so many gods, and we learn, okay, they are demigods, and they provide us all the material facilities, so we have to worship them and be well situated in this life and things like that. And then we learn, as we progress, or as we inquire more, then we learn about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So every day we chant the pranam mantras of Srila Prabhupada, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pascheta Deshatarine. Our respectful obeisances unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. This is whom we are serving. This is what we are serving. Is to free the Western countries or free the world of impersonalism and voidism. Prabhupada once commented that the most important place to preach is not the West. The most important place to preach is in India. And Prabhupada said, I am the only one who is preaching against demigod worship. I am the only one who is chastising or the impersonalists. And he said, India is the most important place to preach because India is full of this impersonalism and voidism. Even amongst those who are spiritualists. Because they don't, and as Prabhupada is saying in this purport, the impersonalists, however, cannot understand how such a huge cosmic manifestation can rest upon a person. See? So Prabhupada was preaching very strongly in India that we have to try and, somehow bring back that original personality of Godhead Krishna to India. He said the Indians have locked Krishna up in a little box, and Prabhupada has actually opened that box and is giving the whole world Krishna. But India, Prabhupada said, was the most important place to preach because of this impersonalism and voidism. And Prabhupada, he understood the mission or the teachings of his spiritual master. In 1935, Srila Prabhupada wrote a Vyasa Puja offering to his Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. And I'll just read the verse or the verse that made Srila Bhakti Siddhanta really recognize Srila Prabhupada. So it was February 25th, 1935. It was this 62nd birthday of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati at Jagannath Puri, where Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was residing. The devotees observed the day with ceremony. But at the small Bombay center, a few disciples planned an evening program and invited local people. For the occasion, Abai wrote a poem. So we'll just read the verse from this poem that really captured Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. For Abai, however, the glory of his Sri Vyasa Puja homage came when the poem reached Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and it gave him pleasure. One stanza specifically made Srila Bhakti Siddhanta so happy that he made a point of showing it to all his guests. It's very nice. Absolute is sentient, thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity, thou hast moved. Such a nice stanza. Somehow, in this simple couplet, Abai, or Srila Prabhupada, had captured the essence of his spiritual master's teachings against the Mayavadis, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta took it as an indication of how well Abai knew the mind of his Gurudev. Abai was delighted when he heard that the couplet was pleasing to his spiritual master. One of Abhai's god brother compared this verse by Abhai to a verse in which Rupa Goswami has expressed the inner thinking of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and had thus moved him to ecstasy. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also found the essay pleasing, and he showed it to some of his confidential devotees. He instructed the editor of the Harmonious, whatever he writes, publish it. So imagine how to please your Guru. But somehow here we could see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was so pleased that he began to show others, this is what my disciple has written, and he has understood my mood and mission. So it's such a great thing. And this is how this whole ISKCON or Hare Krishna movement is based on. It's coming in Guru Parampara. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was preaching against impersonalist voidism, and Srila Prabhupada took up that mission. So it's something that we have to constantly guard against going back into this impersonal philosophy. But also we find here that Lord Shiva is saying this impersonal Brahman is Krishna himself. That doesn't mean we should simply concentrate on Brahman. We should ultimately understand the source of Brahman, or where Brahman is resting is on Krishna. And there's a nice book written, I think Dancing White Elephants, I read, that the Prabhupada took the early devotees to the Kumbh Mela. And it was such a big occasion. And at one point, the devotees, they had a big tent and they would rest. And they allowed some guests and visitors to come. And one of them was like a yogi or someone who was spiritual, but he was an impersonalist. And the devotees were having discussions with him. And then they actually the devotees found that this person was an impersonalist because he was saying all is one, things like that, which is quite popular in India. So one of the devotees said, yeah, okay, if all is one. And it was in the middle of winter that this Kumbh Mela was going on. Right? I think it was January. It was very cold in India, and especially by the holy rivers and things like that. You can imagine how cold it was. So this yogi, this devotee was saying, yeah, everything is one. And so they offered all the guests a little place to stay and a blanket. So the devotee told this yogi, yes, all is one, just like this blanket. So you take one strand and you cover yourself. And because all is one, the blanket is all is one, you take one strand and you cover yourself. Just like this cloth is all one, you take one strand, one piece of string, and you cover yourself. So this yogi, he said, no, we cannot do that. And then he understood. He understood that not all is one. So this is the big problem. And therefore Prabhupada said the most important place for preaching is Bharat or India. And here Lord Shiva confirms as well that Brahman is Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll stop there and we'll take your comments. You can add on to the class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was just thinking about that popular line, all is one and different. And I don't think, to me, it's inconceivable theoretically, because you and I can have something in common, but we have distinct personality, we have individuality. So that's what I wanted to say. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other comments, questions?
Hare Krishna. So I was reading the other day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was a child, Nima, he went and sat on these pots that were contaminated, and his mother chastised him, like, why are you sitting on these pots? They are contaminated. And he says, what's the difference, you know? It's everything is one. It's the transfer. It's like basically, there's no difference between the earth, and these pots. It's the same. And his mother chastised him and said, no, my dear son, when the earth is taken and it is transformed into a pot, then it can hold water. But like that, the earth cannot, if you put water on the earth, it'll seep through. But when it is transformed into a pot, it can hold substances, you know, like water. So all is not one. And she tried to explain the philosophy that this pot is actually transformed from earth, and it is used in a specific way. So, yeah, you'd like to elaborate on that?
No? Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Karantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.